I can't do anything without him.
I mean, it's a big issue. It's almost as big as drugs. And you hear about that all the time in schools. You hear about it just at work, but you never hear about, abuse. And it's all over the place.
What do you think you're doing? I can't believe it.
When you tell an alcoholic they're an alcoholic, they don't listen. They're like, no, I don't have a problem. That's exactly how it is. You're like, no, I'm not in an abusive relationship. Until you step out of it and you actually look at the big picture.
This is a really big problem that goes above and beyond boys and girls just not being nice to each other. This is a problem that includes long-term health consequences, things like alcohol, smoking, and drug abuse, risky sexual behavior, eating disorders, and even depression and suicide.
You keep kidding yourself. You're thinking, it's gotta get better, it's gonna get better, Then you realize it's not, and you realize you've been kidding yourself all this time. Well, you're in way too deep.
It was our first day of high school, so it was like, there was new people, lots of new people, and he was there with his brother. It was basically like he didn't have the time for me at that moment.
Don't interrupt me.
So, I guess he wanted me to go away.
It doesn't concern you. Get out of here!
And he just turned around and hit me in my arm. And that was the very first time that I ever, was hit.
The first time, she came home with this bruise, and it was a perfectly round bruise. And she claims that she ran into the wall, like the door jamb or whatever. This is not making any sense here. But she just denied it.
And I just remember, a lot of people saw it and were just, looking at me they couldn't believe that I let him do that. Not that he did it, but that I let him do it.
I look back now and I wonder, did she really like him? Did she really care about him that much? Or was she just scared? And I think that she was more scared of him than anything.
When we hear the words dating abuse, we tend to think only of the physical abuse, which is hitting, shoving, slapping, that sort of thing. But there's other kinds of abuse that are really prevalent in teen dating relationships. Verbal abuse, for example, is put-downs, you're so fat, you're so ugly. There's emotional abuse, which usually involves threats to hurt the partner or destroy something the partner cares about, or threatening to hurt yourself if your partner wants to break up with you, for example. And then there's sexual abuse, where one partner is forcing or threatening the other one to do something that he or she doesn't want to do.
Your daughter wants to go to a movie, and she wants to go with some friends. In these types of environments, the parent will naturally put up the defenses. But most parents typically put their guard down when they drop their kid off at school.
Last summer, I had gone to summer school, and there was this guy in my summer school class, and he was your everyday football player. All the girls loved him. He had nice style, he had the money, everything. And he picked me. He liked me. So, of course, I was like, oh my God.
He was nice. He was very polite. I mean, he had all the qualities a boyfriend could have that a mom would like to see. So he was just a very nice guy.
Of course, initially there was no outward signs that there was anything going on that I should be concerned about.
And I had always been the outcast at school, never really hanging out with the popular group. And so, we started dating, and then about 2 weeks into the relationship, he was telling me, if you don't give me the attention I need, then I'm gonna go get it from somebody else. And at first I was scared. I was like, oh, I don't want to lose him. So, I gave him the attention. And he was making me not hang out with my friends, making me go over to his house at 2 o'clock in the morning. Ridiculous stuff.
think in most cases, abusive relationships begin with a wearing down of the victim's self-esteem, feelings of self-respect, feelings of connection to other people. So the abusive partner is going to try to isolate his partner.
Why do you do this? Why?
So it's an attempt on the part of one partner to dominate and control the other partner.
I suspected the day that he demanded that he comes with me and her to her high school, and he had to sit in with us to choose her classes. So it was like a light bulb went off. It was like, what is this boy doing? You know, he's controlling.
How would I define a healthy relationship? One in which both partners are equal. One in which both partners are free to express what they need, what they want, make their own choices, and free to end the relationship if they choose.
I had a relationship where they would try to be controlling, tell me I couldn't dance or wear certain things. When you go like to parties or dances together and they, you know, watching you real closely, when he started telling me, oh, you can't dance with people. You have to, you know, when you go to a party, you have to be by yourself. You can't dance. Or you can't go to parties when I go, or stuff like that. That's when it started happening. It started trying to be controlling and trying to control you, telling you who you can talk to and you can't have male friends and stuff like that. That's just signs.
The person that's abusing in the relationship wants to be the only voice and tries to take out the talking with people of the opposite sex initially, and then eventually the friends and family of the person, so that they're the only one they're talking to about this.
I would try to compromise, but compromising wouldn't work, really.
Whenever we were not together, and I'd be trying to hang out with my boys, you know, have a little free time with them, cell phone would blow up constantly. Always wanting to know, you know, where are you at? What are you doing? What time are you coming over? Well, I don't know. You know, every 30 seconds I had to pick up the phone.
Within the hour group, she called him 7 times and sent him 8 text messages, you know. And so, because she wanted to know exactly where he was. Yeah, I'm still at the school.
And then, of course, if I don't answer it, then I have a voicemail, text message, you know, where are you at? What are you doing? There's never any free time.
It's okay. They're like, well, man, she needs to know where I'm at. I'm like, no, she really doesn't need to know where you're at 24 hours a day, you know. So it's really interesting that that they don't even understand what's going on. So it's that control issue, man. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Parents are often the last to know, because young people are not going to want to appear as though they are not responsible. They don't want their freedoms limited by a parent who says, no, you can't go out anymore, you can't talk on the phone. They generally just want their privacy around their relationship issues.
I was 15 years old, and for the first month and a half, you know, it was perfect. You know, I couldn't ask for more, but I guess things just weren't going well, and so we broke up, and we get back together, and we break up. I mean, I don't know how many times, probably over a dozen, but like, he, you know, said I shouldn't wear makeup, or I shouldn't wear that shirt because it shows too much, or I shouldn't wear those shorts because they're too short, or just stuff like that. He wanted to spend all of his time with me, but yet he could still have his own friends that, you know, he can go and do whatever. But, you know, I had to isolate myself at home. I lost all my friends, and I didn't do anything except sit at home and watch TV. Something felt wrong.
We tend to think that kids are engaging in lots of fun and frivolous activities and just fads and, you know, silly things that we see them doing, and we think that their lives are generally sort of fun and not fraught with different kinds of danger or abuse. But there really is a hidden side to teen life that in some cases includes abuse and abusive dating relationships. As early as 8th and 9th grade, 1 in 4 students, both boys and girls, report some form of dating abuse, which can include physical, verbal, emotional, or sexual abuse.
This is a bigger problem than we realize. There are very unhealthy dating behaviors and expectations for relationships that are being established in adolescence, and if we don't address them early, we're going to see patterns of abusive relationships later on.
They put you down. They tell you, you're so ugly, you're so fat, nobody else is going to want to get with you. And then you start to believe it after a while.
And then she started to, disrespect me in front of my friends, making jokes about me, flirting with other guys, just bringing me down in front of other people. I don't want that.
Well, I mean, being 14, 15 years old, no one has the right to tell you who you can talk to or what you can wear or if you can wear makeup or if you can't. That should be your choice.
I mean, at first it was just like, well, you can't wear too short of shorts. But then it went to like spaghetti strap shirts, and it went to where it was just jeans and like long sleeves, that's all. And then it got to where who I couldn't talk to. If he didn't like the girl, I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't talk to boys. And then it got to where I couldn't go anywhere without calling. I couldn't go to family's house, even if it was family right down the street. He didn't want me there. He'd rather me be at home, even if it was by myself, just so he knew where I was.
I asked her, why do you let him tell you what you can wear, or why don't you ever wear makeup anymore? And and then of course it would all get turned around. Well, you think I'm ugly without it.
If things didn't go his way, he threatened to hit me or something like that, and it got crazy.
He had this thing he had to pass, so I'd go over to his house every night, tutor him, make him do his work. But if I pulled out my homework, he'd take it and not let me study.
What happened to you last night?
I guess you start thinking you're not going to get another one. You're willing to put up with anything. At least I was.
It's like you forget details about the bad times, but you remember details about the good times. And I mean, it's a struggle because it's like 1 minute you're like, I want out of this, and I'm gonna get out of this no matter what it takes. But then the next minute you're like, oh, I don't want to, and then you go back, and it's like it's off and on, off and on. But then as it starts to escalate and get worse, you kind of felt like you'll never find anybody else, or that if you do, they're gonna all be that way.
I was very struck with my high school students that I would work with about not wanting to be single. And these are 15, 16-year-olds not wanting to be single. And my initial comment, I don't know how appropriate it was, but it was like, you're supposed to be single, you're 15.
Teens wear their hearts on their sleeve, man. They have so much passion. But, a 14, 15-year-old person who's never been in a relationship before, they think this is just the way it is.
I was just depressed, and my grades had dropped. I had made all A's. You don't want to shower in the morning, you don't want to get up and shower, you just get up, put clothes on, go to school. If you're mentally abused, then that can shoot you down just as much as a fist could.
We talk a lot about the numbers and the statistics, but we often forget how personally painful this is for these kids. They often drop out of activities that they really enjoyed. They're isolated from friends and family. They often do worse in school. Their grades go down, and their self-esteem is battered and sometimes destroyed. And in general, they're just very ashamed to talk about this with other people, and that's really isolating too.
Like the first couple of weeks, if you told her something that she didn't like, she would break down.
You said you would call me!
I'm sorry. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
And I was like, well, this is a weak one, so I can tell her whatever I want to and she'll do it. And that's what made me feel like I could tell her to do anything. Like where she can go and who she can talk to, and told her well, I don't like that shirt, so don't wear it. So she picked another shirt. She was crying because I was doing all this stuff. At the time, it made me feel good. I just liked the power, the control.
I think power, they related to respect. Power equals respect, and that they're gonna get it some way. If they can't get it at home, if they can't get it through the school system, they got to have power and control over something.
Respect is not exercising your power over somebody. In fact, it's sharing power with your partner and making decisions together, or having the ability to make your own decisions and express yourself freely. It's about being supported and loved in your relationship. And there will be conflict in every relationship, so it's also about learning how do you resolve those conflicts constructively.
Like when I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I'm a punk. I can't believe that I did all that stuff to her. And she was nice to me.
I had a party like a week ago or whatever, and he was there, and he was like with his friends, and I was like, come over here now, and all this other stuff, and he'll come. So I was like, then when I went home, I was like, nah, that's not how I'm supposed to act, you know? Where I feel myself being kind of controlling, but I try to stop myself.
Yeah, you can't change them, which is what I had always told myself. I was like, oh, he'll change, he cares about me, he's gonna change. They're not gonna change themselves unless they wanna change themselves.
So many people out there have perfect relationships and where they both respect each other and they both love each other fully, and they found it. And if you know that you're worth more, I don't think that you should stay with the person and sell yourself short.
When I was in school, I didn't know any of the signs of controlling or abusive relationships until I had gotten in one and I went to counseling. And then I had learned, and now I see it all the time.
Warning signs could be crying on the phone, withdrawing from friends and family, dropping out of activities, changes in appearance. Any of the signs that would tell us that a young person was in trouble.
It just happened in health class one day. We were watching, we got on the topic of abuse, and we were watching a video. And that's when it clicked. And the way that relationship was exactly the way that mine and my boyfriend was. If your boyfriend starts telling you that it's not important to hang out with your family anymore, and that it's more important to hang out with him, that's the biggest warning sign ever.
There's certainly subtle forms of abuse, like controlling behaviors. But parents need to understand it can go well above and beyond that, to include things like threats to harm oneself or one's dating partner, can include destruction of property, and even all the way up to injury and death.
I kind of felt bad about myself. I started wondering, what kind of a person am I? What do I want out of life? Is this how I want to be treated the rest of my life? The answer is no. I want respect. I want to be able to give someone respect, and I want respect back.
Just ways that, he would talk to me. I mean, he was putting me down more than I'd ever been put down in my life. And so it was just like, you don't realize it until you step back from it and take some time and look at it.
You need to be cognizant of these, even subtle changes in behavior that might indicate there's something there she's not telling me. There's something there, something kind of strange going on. And don't be afraid to ask.
All of us have a role in preventing this. It's not inevitable. It doesn't have to be this way. Violence does not have to occur. It's not necessarily a natural thing that we just throw up our hands and say, well, that's human nature. So yes, I think parents and all of us can go a long way toward preventing it.
What parents can do is model healthy relationships in their homes for their children, and that doesn't mean don't argue or don't have conflict, but demonstrate how that can be resolved in a respectful manner. I think children learn so much by watching their parents fight. Try to share power as much as possible in appropriate situations so that young people grow up with an expectation that they have their own power.
You have your own control again. I mean, where you have to work to get it back. Because, for months afterwards, you're still telling yourself, oh, you're not going to get anybody. But, when you work it back up, it feels great.
Friends, family, teachers, community members, strangers on the street, all of us have a role. If we see abusive behavior, and if it's safe, we should step in and say something, do something, help a friend. If it's not safe, we should go get somebody else who can help. But the important thing is to do something.
There was this one guy that tried talking to me. I was on the computer.
Just working on some schoolwork that needs to get done.
Oh, you've got, you know, maybe if you gave me your phone number, I wouldn't be so distracting.
And he got mad at me just because I told him to leave me alone, so he just started cursing me out.
It's just a phone number. Why can't you just give it to me?
Okay,
God.
if it's just a phone number, why is it such a big deal?
Yeah, it's just stupid computer. Whoops, whoops, wow. Yeah, see ya.
I felt like, what's going on? You know, I don't even know you. I just told the principal, and she dealt with it, and she took care of it.
Schools really need to address this issue in a comprehensive way, beginning with policies that define dating violence and sexual harassment, and lay out a protocol for school personnel to follow when they get reports of dating violence or when they witness an incident, and how to support the victim in staying safe, and how to provide educational and therapeutic interventions for the young person who's the abuser.
Like, the first time you even see them be abusive, or like they're gonna hit you or they get loud and they don't know how to control it, then that's when you should leave a person.
We have to help. We have to help. We all have to start naming it. We have to start claiming it, and we got to stop it.
I don't think you should waste any time when you even have the little bit of a feeling that it's going to get abusive. Just either get away and just break up with them. I mean, don't talk to them. And if it gets to the point where they're not leaving you alone, then take it to somebody. Take it to your parents. Take it to the police. Do something. I mean, it's like you don't ever have to be abused by anyone.
Keep on. Just keep talking to them, talking at them if it feels like that. They are listening. Get connected with other parents. I have that set up with friends of mine who have daughters the same age. We've been together a long time. We talk about everything under the sun. So it's really staying connected with kids and with other parents.
Ask the family, ask a friend, ask anyone. The important thing is that you're not dealing with it yourself, that you're trying to talk with someone and work it through, because you're not going to deal with it alone. You shouldn't have to.
I just did it cold turkey. I broke it off, didn't answer the calls, changed my number, everything. And I salute anybody who can do that.
I think unconditional love is critical for everything. You have the opportunity to provide that safe foundation for them, that no matter what goes on, I can always go home, I can always go to mom or dad.
If you suspect something, don't ignore it. Kids say they need privacy. They want their privacy. Give them no privacy. If you think that your child is being harmed by somebody, male or female, I just wouldn't give up until you find out.
Get your stuff back on your feet, and then when you realize that you're ready for a relationship again, get to know that person and know that he won't make the mistakes or she won't make the mistakes that your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend did.
Think about before you start yelling and, throwing things. You can always sit down and think about stuff. You can talk it out. There's a moment right before you hit someone that you could stop. You could say, wait a minute, this is not right.
So basically, you gotta give respect to get respect. If you keep doing what you're doing to your partner, it's just gonna make your partner feel bad. And you want to see your partner be happy.
Parents have a right to know where their children are, who they're going with, when they're going to be home. They have a right to know all those things and ask about them, what happened at school today. They also have a responsibility to model healthy relationships and healthy behaviors, whether that's showing love and support or showing how you resolve conflict in a way that's respectful and nonviolent. And also keeping the lines of communication open is really important. Parents need to let their children know that they can come to them with anything, and they can confide in them and share their pain or share anything that would be important to them without being afraid of being punished or having privileges taken away. And those are all really important ways that parents can show their children that they love them.
Whether you are together or apart, you should love your child, period. Because that's what the young ladies are looking for, and that's what the young men are looking for. They're looking for somebody to love them. And until you do that, and then that child knows unconditionally that they are loved, and that's when the respect comes in. Because if you love me enough, I know what love is. And this is not part of love. Love your child.